And now some words from our sponsor that you don't understand and I can't pronounce. Flap, pustule, jowls, nugget, gurgle, smear, curd, bulbous, bulbous, bulbous. What is it?
It's bulbous.
Bulbous. Tender, dongle, pork, and moist. Whether you're a construction worker, warehouse worker, or, frankly, a radio host, if you hear certain words on the job site, work can be uncomfortable. So, at least get work gear that's comfortable. Timberland Pro work shirts, pants, and boots, head to toe. Timberland Pro, not uncomfortable.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Domonique Foxworth in with us today. Going to see if we do some laughing today. Bill Simmons will join us. Talk about his Andre the Giant movie, the one he executive produced on HBO. Neil Brennan, the comedian, co-creator of The Chappelle Show, will be on with us. Ron McGill as well. I'd like to ask everybody here the question. I don't know where or how it happened, but the Kardashians became the royal family of this country, and somewhere within that it grabbed some basketball players and the stuff going on with Tristan Thompson right now, this is just a new form of the way that media changes. And Us Magazine, we are snooping around. TMZ has some surveillance footage of Tristan Thompson doing things outside of his marriage or his relationship and his celebrity, and getting caught cheating. And now we've talked before about how the rules changed on Tiger Woods. Everybody was saying, how can you be so stupid? Perkins parking lot. What kind of idiot are you? And the rules changed in the middle of Tiger Woods. He literally got caught with his pants down because the previous stars got away with all that stuff. We never covered it. But now TMZ exists. And now this particular Kardashianization of journalism exists. And so what is this thing and how do I cover it? Tristan Thompson may be cheating on a Kardashian, and the only reason you care is because it involves a Kardashian, because you sure as hell don't care about Tristan Thompson.
No. And at the Knicks game, fans were booing Tristan Thompson, not because he's Tristan Thompson, because of what he did to a Kardashian.
So what do you do with all of this, Dominique? Because this represents a change in coverage, and maybe men should be shamed in public for their infidelities if they're dumb enough to do it outside of Chloe's gaze under surveillance cameras in a club. You deserve whatever it is that you get from the way that looks.
It's interesting because, I think I started a place where I think the impact that it has on us as a society, excuse me, is
wow.
What happened?
Wow,
there?
that's a fine.
Yes.
Got a little stew flim happening.
Yeah, well, put $5 down.
5?
I mean, he was going to make this important societal point about something.
I'm going to still make it. I'm going to power through. So, I think 5-10 years ago, I wouldn't care about this stuff. So that's what's interesting to me, is that it's having an impact on us, and I see it in myself. Because there was a point where, even 2 or 3 years ago, where, I didn't care about what athletes were doing or what celebrities were doing. I didn't check TMZ. I wasn't into the gossip. But when I saw on Twitter this Tristan Thompson thing, I went to the TMZ article and read it, and I felt guilty, and I was like, what happened to me?
Well, hold on a second. Let me examine this for a second, because journalism has changed a lot in the time that I've been advocating for it. And, Kevin Hart got involved in one of these situations recently down here in Miami. Miami, probably the most likely place for some of this to happen. Guillermo put it on the poll. If a man is cheating on a woman, is that most likely to be happening in Miami
or Vegas?
All right. Go ahead. Put them up there. Miami or Vegas. Put them right next to each other. See what the vote comes back. But I want to understand the way all of this has changed, because there is absolutely value in the way that TMZ is doing this. That surveillance video has value for all parties involved. we care about this family, or we care about the fame around this family. They are much bigger than even James Harden. James Harden is a superstar in our landscape. When the Kardashian army arrives at James Harden's life, it shakes it in a way that James Harden has to retreat with his potbelly to the Houston strip clubs in order to get some soothing order in his life. Because it's crazy. It's crazy. This amorphous Kardashian thing that's moving through the NBA that's just swallowing our biggest stars. And I don't understand why more people aren't reporting the sports part of this, because they're too busy. Like, that is like what's happened to Tristan Thompson is like that raptor. Have you guys seen that video of the raptor in Toronto that just eats a cheerleader whole? Like, the raptor is moving around. It's a mascot, and then the mouth comes down and eats the cheerleader, and then the cheerleader's gone, and the happy raptor is still running with a smile on his face because he can't help it, because that's the way its face looks.
Can't change.
So he just ate a cheerleader, to the horror of 8-year-olds all over Toronto. And he ran off smiling, happy, and they just shot free throws after that. Nothing even stopped.
Right.
So to be clear, you're saying, though, it's the celebrity and all the circus around them that the players can't handle. I just don't want people to misunderstand and think that you're saying that it's something about the women themselves.
No, I'm not saying It's about the women. Thank you for the clarification. No, I'm talking about that famed jackpot that brings, Caitlyn Jenner into the mix, that brings Us magazine into the mix. I picked up, look, man, I have rarely felt older than picking up People magazines recently. I saw like 6 of them on a table, all 6 of them with a bunch of celebrities on the cover, and I did not recognize a single one of them, because not a one, because I don't care about this particular world. But if you do care about this world, that's what's keeping those magazines still selling at a time that nobody can sell magazines.
I think it's interesting. So it hasn't impacted you at all, though, because I think I was like you in that I didn't care, but now I kind of feel like I care a little bit. I want to know this juicy gossip. I'm ashamed of it.
Well, that's interesting, though, because I've always cared. So that's interesting what's going on with him, where now I wonder what's going on there.
I mean, I think this stuff is so prevalent that it has to even influence our culture in a way that we didn't anticipate.
Well, I know I can mark the Kardashians in my sports journalism career as an actual tipping point on where it is I started to get old. Because I was talking on television about the silliest things, and when they brought me the Kardashians, every time I would reject it with, no, that's too silly. Every time. That's too silly. I don't want to I'll do silly television. We'll make a clown out of me and my dad, and Jim Brockmeyer will accuse me of being a mix of mashed potatoes and cologne on television. Like, I'll be the joke at everybody's expense, but not with the Kardashians. And that's when I started to get old. But I ask you guys again, because it seems to be something that this country, young people make everything popular, everything. And the Kardashians might be the old guard now, but they came up and came to power with the young people. And so the young people are in charge now, and it'll swallow Tristan Thompson in a nightclub. And I'm asking you, the audience and the people in this room, fair? We good with it? Like, everyone good with it? Because celebrity is celebrity, and if you want celebrity, this is the bed you've made. And if you get trapped in ensnared in a cheating scandal, you made all of this reality television.
I'm totally good with it.
Yeah, it's also, let's put a little responsibility on Tristan Thompson here.
Correct.
Not this amorphous, pop culture blob.
Oh no, but I'm doing surveillance cameras. I'm doing the idea of selling footage. I am not.
I mean, you could see through his window in his hotel room. And Tristan Thompson can take responsibility. I agree with that. I'm fine with that, but I just don't care particularly about, the fidelity of Tristan Thompson's relationship with Khloe. I care more about the impact that it's having on me and the impact that it's having on our society at large. But if you want to do the show where we say, hey, Tristan, control your lower half, then that's fine.
No, but see, that's not the show I want to do. I'm not interested in the morality of infidelity or whether or not Tristan Thompson should be faithful to a relationship where he's not married. I'm interested in the journalism of this. I'm interested in 2018, where are we societally where this is what we're doing? This is the thing that people want to talk about. And so should the media then be talking about it? Should we be taking it and is First Take talking about this? Should we be taking the stuff that's in the sewer, the stuff that's never been journalism, the stuff that's never been allowed to be sports content, which is how Tiger Woods got caught with his pants down? Should we be taking all that stuff, mixing it up, and throwing it on our programs now? Because I don't even know if there are rules at ESPN. Am I allowed to talk about this Tristan Thompson stuff the same way? Am I allowed to talk about when someone's accusing Lane Kiffin on Twitter of X? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's on, it's in the New York Post today. It's on Fox News. I mean, people are discussing it.
I know, but that's not something we used to do.
New York Post and Fox News, that's the barometer these days?
I'm just saying, though, you're saying it's not something we used to do. I think it's something we always used to do. We just have more ways of catching people now.
Man, it used to be the National Enquirer, though, a place that didn't have credibility bringing down a presidential candidate.
It was the Enquirer for a long time, and Tiger was a tipping point. Remember, the Enquirer was pushing the infidelity story, and all that was surrounding him, and it wasn't until there was an actual incident where the police got involved that you started having to report on all the other gossip, and that just opened the wall.
I find this to be an interesting journalism conversation. I don't care about the moralities of whether or not somebody is cheating on their relationship. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in, if we're going to do this, that would open up one hell of a content box for us. Hey, just go catch athletes. We'll put it on television. Just go catch them. Go catch famous people. Like, go catch them in their hotel room. Go see what you can do with Aaron Andrews. Like, go ahead. See if you can avoid the labyrinth of legal stuff that's here. Like, does it alarm anybody? Because there used to be rules on this stuff, and TMZ is winning on this stuff. And if you're good with it, you're good with it. But I keep asking the question for that reason.
Does it matter if you're good with it or not? Like, there's some things that are part of, and just us being old. Like, I didn't necessarily think of myself as old before I walked into this room, but I find myself on the old journalism side where this stuff, I want to be offended by this stuff. But I'm sure there was something 50 years ago there's always something that's appalling to the conventional wisdom, and then it becomes natural. And this might just be something that we're going to have to accept, and maybe the pendulum will swing back in a few years, but right now it's going deeper and deeper into the muck.
There's also no way for us to know what's not reported on, what sort of standards TMZ might have. This specific instance is so salacious just because of the content of the video, and you add the Kardashian element.
But I'm asking you guys a question.
It's just Tristan Thompson. I mean, that's the problem.
I understand, but you're not aware of all the times where they get some other video of some other journeyman, and they're like,
but this is the question that I'm asking you, Mike, and I ask you this question out of ignorance. Is ESPN on its platforms airing the video that everyone is talking about that TMZ had?
Oh, I haven't seen the video anywhere. You can't really air the video. You could probably air still. Like I said, the video is pretty salacious. Mm-hmm. That's a huge part of this specific story. I know you're having a macro conversation.
No, I know, but it's a huge part of this specific story, and I want to know. The question I'm asking is this worth covering? I'm asking you the question. You guys keep telling me, yep, I'm interested. I'm saying 7 years ago, I was not interested in this Kardashian family.
It all depends. Is it a Wednesday?
It's Thursday with Domonique.
I know, but it started on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It did start on a Wednesday. Good, Mike. Good call.
Don Batard.
It is an honor to be here. Seeing Poppy in person. You're like a Cuban Yoda. You're wonderful. Really? And also, you have a normal-shaped head, which is nice to see, because it begs the question, though, what the heck happened to you, Dan Le Batard?
Thank you, Jim. Stugotz.
America, his head starts off okay at the top, and then by the time it hits his ears, it expands out for some reason.
Yes, that's the calories. Usually, yeah. That's
you have the world's only apple-bottom skull. As the kids say, it's THICC thick, my friend, so good on you.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I will leave this boring journalism conversation in a second.
Promise?
I will, yes, I will, and we will get back to the normal hijinks and Domonique
That's a
Foxworth.
Fine. Yeah.
That's not a fine, of the undefeated, formerly of the NFL. I don't like where we've arrived when 60 Minutes, the old-timey news show, goes into the gutter on some of this stuff. And I don't care what your politics are here. I'm talking about the journalism of it. We are doing it more and more, this dance of That was 60 Minutes, man. That is our news program for all time, going right into the gutter to do something that you're just sort of like, what is this? What is this 60 Minutes? Is this what now? Maybe that's an evolution that has to happen in journalism. Maybe I'm behind the times. I'm not good with it. I keep asking you guys if you are.
You know what 60 Minutes is telling you, though? People are interested in the gutter.
Correct.
Because if they're going to the gutter, that means people are interested in it, Dan.
Correct. But is that news then? Is that how we're defining news now? News in 2018 is just what people want, period.
I can't believe you're this upset about the Antetokounmpo piece that they ran on 60 Minutes a few weeks ago. He didn't live in the gutter. It was Greece.
Beautiful, actually.
Jeez, damn.
Beaches.
Stugotz, you were analyzing your life last night and questioning some of the decisions that you've made. You left here yesterday. You were a disaster at your job, and you left here careening into the highway, just saying, I'm so tired. In fact, during the last half of the show, the funniest things that you said were, I'm so tired, I need a bed. Like you were not doing your job in any way yesterday. And so you get home and are so tired that you stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. You stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning. Why, Stugotz? Tell the people so that they can see your dirty shame. 60 Minutes should come do something about this because it's dirtier than anything that's been reported in the news in years. Stugotz last night watching basketball.
It was past 1 o'clock in the morning. So we had, I have my big fantasy league, my basketball league, and it came down to the final night. Now we added a new wrinkle this year where second place gets a pretty good chunk of change. Okay. And I had no chance of getting first place. I had no chance. I was out of it, but I was tied with another guy, for second place. Now, second place gets money. Third place does not. Okay. Gets nothing. Gets a free ride. That's what happens for third place. I needed 10:30 games.
He gets so involved. I don't understand why Stugotz gets so self-involved at the height of his
setup story, man.
At the height of his narcissism that he thinks his fantasy league stories are bigger and better, that everyone cares about him when no one cares about him.
I like to rummage. Here is your question, Dano. I'll finish the story in a minute, guys.
So we go to the magic crate of content when someone's long-winded and cruddy.
Just getting to the good stuff.
Would you rather win an Olympic medal, an Academy Award, or the Nobel Peace Prize?
Wow. What is the Nobel Peace Prize?
Dan Le Batard.
Man, you have no journalistic responsibility.
Stugotz.
Yep, and I love it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Ron McGill going to be there in a half hour, 11 a.m. Eastern. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Knicks have fired both Jeff Hornacek and Kurt Rambis. The Magic have dismissed their head coach, Frank Vogel. The T-Wolves clinched the West 8 seed, beating the Nuggets last night. And finally, in a recent interview with SiriusXM's Hip Hop Nation, Cardi B revealed she's sparing no expense to make sure her Coachella performance lives up to the hype. After admitting she wasn't aware that the major festival is such a big deal, Cardi revealed she was receiving $70,000 per weekend for her pair of performances. The relatively low sum is largely the result of being booked for the event 6 months ago before reaching her current level of fame. As it stands, Cardi will lose around $160,000 playing Coachella because of the decision to invest $300,000 of her own money into the stage set. It's worth noting that Cardi B's Sunday set at Coachella is scheduled to last only 35 minutes.
Oh, no. Oh. Ooh.
For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Boom. Cliched how people go broke.
Good way to go, Cardi broke.
So... I want to continue this journalism conversation on the micro instead of the macro. Let's make it about sports journalism. Let's make it about how sports journalism has changed and specifically how ESPN has changed, okay? Because everything I'm told is that ESPN is less like than it used to be because of politics, because there are so many opinions on sports television. And it used to be that ESPN at one time was primarily, highlights, Dan Patrick with a smirk, and Roy Firestone with a serious sports interview. And that's what ESPN was, and what ESPN was expected to be during a quainter time. But what happened at ESPN is, in the name of diversity, a whole lot of opinionated minorities were given what First Take is capitalized on, which is, look, if you talk about sports in a way that has opinions in it, it will be rewarded with ratings. So, much like the Kardashians, you get into this situation where I ask you, ESPN, journalism company, in bed with its corporate partner of basketball, when Stephen A. Smith does this, is this journalism?
I know I'm supposed to be careful with my words. I know I'm not supposed to issue threats. After all, I work for Walt Disney. That's Mickey Mouse.
But if either scenario happens, I'm telling you right now, the New York Knicks, you could take this as a threat if you want to. You go ahead and you keep Jeff Hornacek, or you get rid of him and you bring David Blatt here to be the head coach of the New York Knicks, and you watch what I do. You watch what I do. That had better not happen. I'm sick of this. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense. And by the way, I respect David Blatt. It's not like the man doesn't know how to coach and he doesn't know basketball. He did guide the Cleveland Cavaliers to the finals. I'm not trying to disrespect him,
save.
But I keep telling y'all, and I'm not playing. It is April 11th. The New York Knicks' last game is tonight. By tomorrow, Jeff Hornacek should be gone. Period.
Now, is that journalism? Because it sounds like that might be something that we could prosecute.
That's the greatest of all time. That's what that is.
Well, I mean, you might try to prosecute it, but I often say it.
And they listen to him.
No, you blew the joke. You blew the joke, Domonique.
I didn't blow the joke. I was adding a little pause there so I could nail the dismount, and then somebody comes bumbling in there, elbowing around. No, not you.
That was me. Saying the Knicks listened to Stephen A. Smith. They got rid of Jeff Hornacek.
Hold on. I want to ask the question again. Guillermo also put it on the poll. Is this journalism? One more time. Just want to ask it again. Is this journalism?
I know I'm supposed to be careful with my words. I know I'm not supposed to issue threats. After all, I work for Walt Disney. That's Mickey Mouse.
But if either scenario happens, I'm telling you right now, the New York Knicks, you could take this as a threat if you want to. You go ahead and you keep Jeff Hornacek, or you get rid of him and you bring David Blatt here to be the head coach of the New York Knicks, and you watch what I do. You watch what I do. That had better not happen. I'm sick of this. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense. And by the way, I respect David Blatt. It's not like the man doesn't know how to coach and he doesn't know basketball. He did guide the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's
arguing with himself here. Here's the obligatory perspective as offered by the ESPN liability journalism claim.
It is April 11th.
Waivers.
The New York Knicks' last game is tonight. By tomorrow, Jeff Hornacek should be gone. Period.
And then they fired him?
Yep. And Rambus.
Was that the right punctuation at the end? Because he said period, and it felt a lot more like an exclamation point.
It really did. Put that on the poll as well. Was that the proper punctuation? Yes or no?
It's a harder word to say. I think it's just, you say period, end of discussion. That's the way you usually do it.
Period.
Yeah. Thank you.
Period.
Also, what do you think he would do?
Well, that's the question I have.
Talk louder.
That's the thing. I want to follow this to its logical conclusion. Let's just say that the Knicks hadn't bowed behind his public, in front of his public pressure. Let's just say that they had not fired Hornacek and Stephen A. Smith had actually had to come behind that bluster with something. What would it have been?
Just that, but slightly angrier, more longer.
You don't want to see what it would have been.
Right.
Well, what do you mean I don't want to see? I do very much want to see what it would have been.
Not want to see what it would have been.
All right, but what's the level beyond that, though? No. Is it like Stephen A. Smith showing up to, Dolan's house with a 2x4 and some goons?
Luckily, we'll never know.
Yep.
Didn't get to that.
Luckily for Dolan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We could still find out if they hire Blatt.
Exactly.
But he kind of respects
Blatt.
I feel
weird.
He likes Blatt. He might any head coach.
It sounds like he can talk himself into Blatt.
It sounds like he did talk himself into Blatt.
But what does he want, though? Like
he wants Mark Jackson. That's what he wants.
Oh, that's what he. Okay, I didn't know. All right.
Okay, I don't know that that's so.
I heard his rant. I was listening to it on the way home. He said on the front end he would like Mark Jackson to be the Knicks head coach.
Okay, so I ask you again, is this in 2018 journalism? Stephen A. Smith threatening the Knicks if they don't hire former ESPN personality Mark Jackson.
Period.
And current ESPN personality
Soon
Mark
to be
Jackson.
former.
Almost a fun.
Soon to be former because he's going to be the head coach of the Knicks.
Where are we? Okay, but where are we in the employment status of Mark Jackson?
Period.
Okay, very good.
This show ain't free. Time for some ads.
Mike, would you be kind enough, just real quick, to wish Guillermo again a happy birthday from Stephen A. Smith? Guillermo, how old did you turn yesterday? What was that unhappy birthday for you?
31.
Congratulations on your 31st birthday. Stephen A. Smith sends his most loving regards.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
I think we should do a daily birthday like PTI does. With that, we should have a segment, just a 15-second segment every day. Happy whatever birthday to somebody.
It's Amin El-Hassan's birthday.
There you go.
All right.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Just because you want to play that, so every day, wish someone a happy birthday?
Yes, let's wish someone every way. It's good. It's 10 seconds of good radio content.
I think my favorite part of that is that he starts with a little rev-up flourish. It's happy birthday. That is what I enjoy most.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care.
Yeah, really insincere.
Good luck.
If you did not know that the happy birthday was not insincere from the way that it was sung, then he came in on the back end and he double dismounted.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Good luck, though.
Yeah, conflicting
No, the
messages.
good luck is also insincere. The good luck, I don't believe the way it was delivered.
conflicted.
No, he can. No,
it sounded sincere.
If it's
man.
in quote marks, it would be good luck and it would feel like good luck. But the way that was said was like more like Marco from Treboika and Take It.
Good luck.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You are.
Good luck.
No, that's threatening.
I mean, it's the same format of the take that he just delivered, where it's coming hot and then soften it a little bit. I like David Blatt. He's a real good coach.
Period.
Now, here's what you don't understand. That good luck, no one has ever, Guillermo put this on the poll. Have you ever been threatened with good luck as vigorously as this?
Good luck.
No, you're right, because you're right. Because good luck, usually you're about to do something that's important, something you might accomplish something,
right.
and there's someone nice who cares a lot. Hey, good luck. And you're right. It's usually not met it's usually not met with fear.
The tone.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's not.
It's met with promise and hope.
I got to be honest with you. It's so threatening that I want to abolish freedom of speech.
Good luck.
I prefer to succumb to the fear.
Good luck. Don't forget, you can hear more of my sons Dan and Stu weekdays starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Next, you're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie, this does look fun. Whee-oh, you melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
Stugotz lies so much, and he doesn't take inventory of his lies, that even when he's telling the truth, we don't believe him on anything. What's wrong, Stugotz? What are you objecting to?
I mean, listen, I've done this to myself, so I'm frustrated at myself. I'm not going to lash out elsewhere because I understand why everyone would think that I was the one who did this. But I am sitting here telling you guys that I did not do it.
Stugotz.
You absolutely took a bite out of a piece of pizza and put it back with the rest of the pizza.
It was me.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Ron McGill is from Zoo Miami. He is a lovable creature. He really cares about the animals. Look him up on Google if you want to help with his foundation. He does a lot of really good things for the animals, and as Stugotz said, he is the most popular guest in show history. So if you'd like to talk to Ron McGill, if you have animal questions for him, 786-456-4837, 786-456-4837. I saw a video the other day, Ron, of a guy in a barn, and he just sort of clapped his hands, and about 200 ducks, it looked like, although it may have been chickens, gathered in formation, and they looked like a marching army headed to destroy someone. I'm sure they'd just been taught to feed like that. What's the most unusual situation where you've seen of animals being trained?
Well, there's this hippo that was raised in Africa, and hippos are literally the most dangerous animal in Africa. More people are killed and injured by hippos than any other animal in Africa. This family raised this hippo to full size to where they let it walk into their house. It walks into the kitchen. It walks by the dining room table. They feed it heads of lettuce, and the thing is just walking through a house like a bull in a china shop, but it's not breaking anything. It's like a gentle, huge dog. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I'm sure if you Google it, you can find it. This tame hippo walking through a house. It's unbelievable. This older gentleman just kind of raised this animal, and it just shows that sometimes you can get these incredible bonds that are inexplainable.
Now, so you believe in the idea of that, even as you've told us very many times. I mean, I remember one of the first times we spoke to you, it was about that woman who had a chimp for a pet, and then one day the chimp just tore her face off.
Exactly. Well, listen, I am not endorsing that by any stretch of the imagination. There's another guy who works in Africa who kind of has made himself part of a lion pride. Well, he goes in with these lions, a pride of lions, and he does the same thing with hyenas. Now, if you talk to him, he will tell you, this is probably going to cause my death one day. But until then, he does this amazing, he has this amazing rapport with these animals that is, to me, it's such an exception as opposed to the rule. What scares me, Dan, is that people look at this stuff and they go, you see, I can do that. I can love my animal. It's going to love me the same way. And that's ludicrous. It's just a time bomb waiting to go off.
Can we do this in the future?
Yes.
If this lion tamer guy speaks English, can we get you on with him and have you guys discuss it? Because I think you'd ask him better questions.
He's from South Africa. And I'm sure if you Google him, I forget what his name is. I think it's Kenneth. I forget what his name is, but it's some of the most amazing video you'll ever see of this guy where lions come and they jump and he gets in the pride and he gets on his back and these huge male lions are all over him and they're rolling around with him and they're licking him and it's just incredible stuff. It's crazy. Don't get me wrong, it's crazy, but there's something there that he's been able to assimilate himself into this pride. And he's done the same thing with hyenas, which are another animal, that they have the strongest bite of carnivores. They're the only animal that can break into elephant bones to eat the marrow. That's how massive the jaw strength of a hyena is. And yet this guy's in there playing with them like they're 2 hours.
Let's set that up, Allison. Let's set that up. Let's try and get Ron McGill on the phone with this gentleman so we can ask him questions.
And you don't have to think Ron will ask better questions than you and I will. But Ron, I've walked through that zoo with you. I've walked through Miami Zoo with you, and you have bonds with a lot of the animals. It's amazing. It's real bonds.
But do you have one like that, Ron, that even you think is weird? You've told us about the bonds you've developed at the zoo, because you've also been bitten by a gator. There have been some times where you've been, if not reckless, you've been dumb.
Right, exactly. I've been, young and stupid, and, that testosterone makes you think you're immortal and you do stupid things, and I've got more stitches in my body than I can count because it was always my fault. Now, having said that, I remember there was one time we had a tigress. The first tigress born here at the zoo back in the early 80s. Her name was Natasha. And I remember I felt I had a bond with her. She would always chuff when she saw me. It's kind of a greeting in tiger. And when she had her cubs, Dan, one of the most moving moments I've ever had in my life, as I went back into her den area, and, tigers are incredibly defensive when they have cubs. They get crazy. You can't even get near them. And she saw me, and she chuffed. And I sat down at the outer end of the den area. She went back into the den, which is dark and enclosed in the back, and she brought the new cub in her mouth, walked it over to me, and dropped it right in front of me for me to see it. And I'm telling you right now, I get misty-eyed thinking about it because it was like she was sharing something so special with me. Now, would I ever go in with that tiger? There were times when I thought, I'm sure I could go in there where she would never hurt me, but that would be the dumbest thing I could ever do. But yet she brought that cub to me and laid it down right in front of me so I could see it. Those types of moments are priceless. Again, though, you cannot be lured into thinking, she's your friend. You can go in there and play with her. She's your pet. No. There's that old saying, you can take an animal out of the wild. You can never take the wild out of the animal. And when you get sucked into that type of belief, that's when you get in trouble.
Would you guys agree back there that in 2018, the thing roaming the earth most like a 2018 Tarzan is Ron McGill? That if you had to, he's a giant man. He's got a mustache. He's wiry, and the animals do things like that around it.
Yeah, but he's not wild enough. Manny the Sharkman Puig is like a real wild boy.
Right, yeah. I would say pre-marriage, like Ron told me stories about when he got married. His wife said, "You're not doing any of this stuff ever again." Like, period, end of discussion. We're done, right?
This is neutered Tarzan? Yeah. Okay, this is a neutered Tarzan situation.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. Neutered
All right, very
Tarzan.
good. Tom, you're on with neutered Tarzan on ESPN Radio. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, shoot. I gave the name Bob. Mr. Miguel.
You changed your name? Hold on a second.
Bombardier.
What happened? And you called him Mr. Miguel.
What the hell's your name, dude?
Bob, Mr. McGill.
All right, you changed your name to Tom because you don't want people to know that Bob is making this phone call. Okay, Bob, what is your question?
What's a cooler animal, the bombardier beetle or the pebble toad?
Okay, I understand your shame now.
Oh, my God. Next.
Okay, but you don't know what is the cooler animal. I don't know those animals. Pebble toad. I don't know.
I don't know what a bombardier beaver is.
All right, Jeff, you're on. Jeff, it's a beetle. It's not a.
Oh, a beetle.
Yes,
it's a beetle.
It's a beetle.
Oh, it's probably going to be the beetle. Beetles are so cool. There's so many different kinds of beetles in this world, and they all have such incredible behaviors and colors and shapes and sizes. I'm going to go with the bombardier beetle.
Eddie, you're on with Ron McGill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Eddie.
Hey, Ron. Since I moved from Florida to Georgia, in my deck there's a huge bee, HGH injected bee that just hovers outside my backyard and terrorizes my family. I hear it's called the carpenter bee. What can I do about it? What can I do to get rid of it? Because no one wants to come outside.
Well, first of all, remember this. If it's a bee, it's not going to sting you unless you swat at it or do something like that. Bees, when they sting, are basically committing suicide. When a true bee stings, it dies. Now, if it's a wasp, that's a different situation. Wasps can repeatedly sting, and sometimes they cause something a bee when it's truly a wasp or a hornet, and those animals can sting you over and over and over again. Again, I try to get this, and I know it's easier said than done. If you leave it alone, it will leave you alone, unless, of course, it's building some kind of hive on your deck, and that's what you got to be careful of. Wasps, especially paper wasps, things like that, will build these little nests under your deck, and in an effort to protect the nest, if you get too close, they'll sting you, but not because they're being mean or because they hate you, but because they think their nest is being threatened. So I would look out there just to see that there's not a nest being built. If the thing is just buzzing around, it's probably feeding on some kind of pollen or feeding on whatever it feeds on, and it has no interest in you. Enjoy it. Look at this wonderful big thing that scares you and think, this is a wonderful piece of nature, and just enjoy it. Don't bother it. It won't bother you.
Andy, you're on with Married Tarzan. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Tim, I was wondering, who would win in a race? Guillermo, Fat Chris, or a cheetah with a broken foot?
Okay, an average human
being. That's a good question.
To an above-average human being speed against a cheetah with a broken foot. What do you got, McGill?
I will give the cheetah with 3 legs.
Oh, a 3-legged cheetah, not even using the 4th leg.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. That's not fair,
Absolutely.
though, because the broken leg would be hurting him when he's running. So if he has no leg, he doesn't feel the pain. That's a different game.
Well,
Ron.
no, but he's
okay,
saying...
but let me explain something to you. Wild animals do not feel pain the way you and I do, in the sense that, especially when it comes to a matter of survival, and it's an adrenaline rush. So I'm talking about a cheetah with an adrenaline rush. I'm not talking about a cheetah that you can say, okay, we're going to break your foot, now you got to race this guy. No, this is a cheetah. You're racing for your life, okay? You're racing for your life. The cheetah kills him.
Let me also explain something to you. $2. Let's check out this video right here. Let's check out this video. Okay. Ron McGill doing play-by-play. Ron McGill of a video that he's got on his computer. Go ahead, Ron.
Right. Okay, so we're looking at this thing, and there's a wasp sitting on a leaf. I don't know. It seems like... Oh, jeez! Oh, my God! This flower looked like an orchid. Oh, it's an orchid mantis. This orchid mantis grabbed this thing. Holy jeez!
Oh!
Look.
Oh,
the greatest camouflage
mantis
on the face of the planet.
Oh,
look at this
it's an eater. The orchid mantis. Oh, it eats. It looks like a beautiful orchid.
It's fantastic. Look at that. It's fantastic, guys. It's the greatest camouflage. Praying mantises have the greatest camouflage of any animal on Earth. Google them and you look. Some look like leaves. Some look like orchids. This looks like an orchid. Just fantastic. Nature is amazing.
What a great video. Thank you, Ron. Great. We will talk to you next week,
sir.
Thank
you. Take care, guys.
Aquí lo que importa es el catch.
I mean, he's right. He's right. He didn't tell him no lie. Not McGill, Poppy.
Don Le Batard.
I'm looking up okapis, learning about them. I stumble upon another animal that is also amazing called a tufted deer. It's a deer with fangs, Dan. A fanged deer.
Stugotz.
Are you a carnivore? What are you doing, tufted deer? Look it up. Okapis, tufted deer. Learn it, love it, live it. You welcome.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
What is the lifeblood of sports radio? If you could only pick one sentence in the history of all of sports radio, what is the lifeblood? Because I believe the lifeblood is what just happened with Stugotz and his computer, where I would argue, I'm going to nominate and go all in with this is the lifeblood of sports radio. Complaining about guys' contract.
Yeah, well.
Like, can anyone top my hand? He was complaining about Jarvis Landry's contract.
I mean, 5 years, $75 million, 47 guaranteed for a guy who has 102 catches for 320 yards.
Can he win the big one is a good one. Can he win the big one? Or, I mean, I built an open for a staple of what sports radio was.
Wow. Awesome.
You did?
Yep.
Since the dawn of time, men have been searching for the answer to life's most important questions. Today, we finally settled the debate and crowned the human race's supreme demigod. Also, we have nothing else to talk about. It is Marino Montana.
Who's better, Marino Montana? Is that the better lifeblood than is Jarvis Landry overpaid? Honestly. What does anyone have any nominees for lifeblood? I love this music. Thank you. It's making my chest, my nipples sore. Yes.
I think the lifeblood of sports radio is just general insecurity and disdain for your own existence.
Wow, that's much stronger than I would have gone. Darker, self-loathing.
I mean, it just feels like a lot of the stereotypical sports radio is just like
self-loathing.
I hate the athletes because I wanted to be the athlete, so it's all about bashing the athlete the whole time.
I think Mike hit it. I think it's Marino Montana, LeBron, Jordan. That's what sports radio is all about, man. Dissecting.
Yeah, or have a take, don't suck.
Yep. Fire a coach.
Oh, but have a take, don't suck. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Have a take, don't suck is the umbrella family of all of it. Like it's the human race of have a take, don't suck is what it is.
Right.
But that take is often judgmental and hates the athlete and thinks the athlete overpaid, even though none of us have been taking pay cuts at work.
I don't hate the athlete. I'm just laughing at the Browns. I mean,
okay. So Domonique, $75 million, $47 million guaranteed for Jarvis Landry. Tell Stugotz why he should care.
He shouldn't. Your response should be, "Ooh, I see you, player. Get that money." That is the proper response to any contract that comes out.
My first response, honestly, was, "What is Odell Beckham Jr. going to get?"
Let's try it again. Ooh, player, I see you. Get that money.
No, that's not good sports radio.
No, I think it is. Well, it's not good sports radio. He's right about that. I do think it's the better moral attitude.
Let me hear it again. Go ahead.
Ooh, player, I see you. Get that money.
Ooh, player, I see you. Get that money. No,
it doesn't feel right. It's so much better with you. It doesn't work. Dominique doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
It's what. Wait a minute. That's not why it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work because Stugotz doesn't.
The ICU instead of the ICYA.
They're fair. Dan, totally fair point.
You also went player, I believe.
Player?
No, he said player. There's a vast difference.
Player.
A player and a player.
I see you, player. Go get yours.
Nice. Nailed it.
Wait, no.
What?
Yeah, but okay, hold on a second.
First of all, we've been through this before.
Yeah.
There's a difference between R's and A's.
Mm-hmm.
When you end in any words, be very careful with the hard R.
I got scared again because we were talking about Joe and Phil Necro before.
Watch your mouth, Dan. I told you if you say that one more time.
What are you going to do? You're going to threaten me like Stephen A. Smith?
I don't want to have to tell you. I know I'm not supposed to do this because I work for the mouse, Disney. However, if you say that one more time, you or David Blatt, say Phil or Joe Necro one more time.
If we talk about 80s knuckleballers, if I'm having a conversation with David Blatt about 80s knuckleballers, Phil and Joe of unspecified name.
Okay. Yep. That was close. I almost jumped out my chair.
I'm with you, player.
Necro, please.
Don Le Batard.
Never going to stop. I am what I am, man. I'm 44 years old. I ain't changing.
Stugotz.
Why change now? It's worked. Here I am. Sitting next to you. Filthy rich.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
He's a co-creator for The Chappelle Show, one of the greatest things in the history of comedy, and he's got his own comedy career outside of that. As Stugotz just told you, the Here We Go tour begins on June 7th in Chicago, and if you want tickets, upcoming tour dates, he takes chances. NeilBrennan.com is where you go. One of the creative chances you took recently, and thank you for being on with us, was this documentary series you did. Was it with Jay-Z or for Jay-Z about Will?
It was against Jay-Z. No, yeah, it was. Well, first of all, Dan, how are you?
Good to see. Good to talk to you, Neil.
Yes, you as well. Hey,
I'm good.
I wanted to warn you. When was the last time you shaved your beard?
Oh,
your
man,
stubble.
Long time ago. I just shave. I just sort of clean it up. I don't really shave.
I did a movie a couple days ago with Tom Hardy. No big deal. But I had to shave my stubble, and I don't got much of a jaw. I'll say that. I forgot how bad it was.
Okay, so what happened? You shaved and you looked in the mirror and you didn't like what was looking back at you because you're doing a movie with Tom Hardy?
Oh, I remember. Now I remember why we started it all. Because it's just not. It's it's cheek and then it's kind of neck. And it's sad. So I literally was like, you need to warn Le Batard because he could fall. He could end up in a Tom Hardy movie. Who are we kidding? Okay. It's never going to happen. But
Neil, I asked you about the Jay-Z documentary series. Where are you wandering off to?
We'll get back to that. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm butt naked right now, looking in the mirror, and I want you to know.
Wait a minute. What is this movie? All right, paint the picture
Neil
for us.
is right. You let the comedian go where the comedian wants to go.
All right,
man.
fine, but paint the picture for us. Where are you right now? What are you doing? And, of course, it begs the question, really? A Tom Hardy movie, Neil?
Yes. Right now I'm in Los Angeles. I'm getting ready to go to therapy. I have therapy at 9 a.m. So I took a shower. I just got out of the shower. Now I'm getting dressed. We have therapy at 9 a.m. Nothing major this week, but you gotta keep the pipes clean. Now I'm going to segue to Jay-Z. Jay-Z.
No, hold on, but are you naked? Are you indeed naked?
Are you naked?
I just put underwear on in the middle of that anecdote, and I really played it off pretty well.
Okay.
I, of course, wear the Kevin Hart underwear. Kevin Hart has his own underwear. That's where you go. Maybe are you endorsing too many things, Kevin?
Take them off.
Just maybe. Do you draw the line anywhere?
Kevin Hart underwear would be a good place to draw the line, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's literally, I got my own underwear. It's like, Kevin, stop it. You don't have to promote all the time.
Do you think anyone's telling him that? Do you think anyone's telling Kevin Hart, Kevin, the underwear, that's the line? Stop it.
No, I mean, it's self-evident by endorsing the underwear that no one's telling him, hey, maybe draw the line. That's the behind the music, and then he endorsed underwear. So Jay-Z, his 444 album was coming out, and he basically wanted a documentary about the themes involved in the album. Most of them emotional, growth, being black was one of the big issues, and who's better to make a documentary about being black than the kid.
Than you.
The kid.
And the nude kid who's going to therapy at 9 a.m. because of all the torture that has come through his privileged life.
Yes, I've been out here in this emotional world. So we had called up the kid, and I did many interviews with many black male celebrities about their emotional life.
So you're interviewing
now the bad news. It's only on Tidal.
Wait a minute, but you sat down with Kendrick Lamar to talk to him about his feelings about being a black man.
I most certainly did, Dan. Did you? I don't remember you being there.
No, but why are they Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jay-Z? Why are they choosing you to tell the story?
No, I still don't really know.
You're the kid.
And I didn't I didn't ask too many questions. That's one of those things that like, oh, what black guy should definitely be directing this. But what do you?
Did you tell anybody at the meeting? Did you tell anyone?
Oh, he knew. Neil. He knew who the hell I. He knew
Neil.
what color my skin was.
I mean, I'm showing Dan a picture of you right now.
I know what Neil looks like, and that's with the beard. Like the beard makes him look less white. Like once I don't even know what he looks like naked and afraid right now going to therapy. He's the whitest person in the world.
Beard. I have the color me bad beard. I have the the tough jawline. Yes, so I made an experience about I made a documentary about the emotional lives of black men, and I do. As I'm sitting here, I do remember one of the highlights was, and I feel like you're going to relate to this, Batard, is Jay-Z's playing me the record in the studio, and I kindly asked him to turn it down. Because I'm no longer a spring chicken,
right.
and it's like, look, I don't need to prove how loud I can listen to things. Just would you mind turning it down a little bit? Because hip hop guys, in my experience, will play things so loud that I've gotten actually nauseous in the studio. It's so loud, and I had I think that's peak whiteness. Is asking Jay-Z to turn that racket down.
The Here We Go tour begins on June 7th in Chicago. For tickets and upcoming tour dates, visit neilbrennan.com. I always love talking to him about Chappelle, and I'd be curious what he makes of Chappelle's evolution. But how does a comedian navigate the landscape right now, Neil, especially a white male comedian on the Me Too stuff?
I just make documentaries. Well, my thing with the Me Too stuff, what I find funny about the Me Too stuff, and I'm sure it is, you can relate, is the dumb conversations you have to have with your male friends about, like, where guys are actually feeling sorry for themselves now, where they go, my guy friends go, like, can't even compliment a woman anymore. And it's like, oh, yeah, is that your thing, Jim? Complimenting women? Because I don't remember any of my guy friends calling me a year ago and being like, we got to get down to the club to compliment some women. Because I'm sitting on 8 hot compliments right now, bro. Let's put some smiles on some faces tonight with no sexual expectations. Like, the amount of dumb things guys have said to me, like smart guys, too. Like, smart, and they just, like, dumb, like guys going, well, you know, they're going to have to outlaw dating people you work with, and then people are going to work less. Like, oh yeah, are people going to work for the action? Is that what
That's why I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're very handsy, and you'll see. Your day's coming. Your day in court. They call you the Cuban Cosby. Last I heard.
Oh, whoa!
So
Excessive.
It's also
Cuban American.
Funny. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the idea that guys are, it's everyone's scared now, because it used to just be guys scared on dates, or with just women, but now my male and female friends are scared. Every day, all my friends are comedians, so all my, when my female friends go on dates, they're like, is he a rapist? And my male friends are like, is she a blogger? People are scared, I tell you. They're scared.
Are you? How have you navigated the Louis C.K. stuff?
Well, first of all, I will say that I emailed him just to check in. I've known Louis since I was 16, so like, you know, it's sad. I hope he. I think it's forgivable because his brand was he was always sort of a gross schlub. You know what I mean? So it's not so.
Yeah, well, it's the criminal part or the potential criminal parts they become.
No one. I don't think he broke any laws. Mm-hmm. Is the good news. Okay. It's not great.
Right.
But,
right.
It's
we
not great news, but the good news is okay, I guess. Did Louis respond to your email or just left?
He did. He did, and I'll let you know what he said right after this.
We should go to
that would have been fine, man.
I thought we were going to go to break there. Go to break there.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU. Dan Le Batard.
Tom Ricketts is saying that the Cubs will not allow Sammy Sosa back into that organization for anything moving forward until he comes clean. And what I find absurd about that, and what a hypocrite this guy is that family made hundreds of millions of dollars off the name Sammy Sosa. By the way, never tested positive for steroid use. And if he was using steroids, which we all assume that he was, my guess is if he was using it, the Ricketts family had an inkling that was going on in their own clubhouse. And for him to come out many, many years later and say Sammy Sosa must come clean for us to allow him back into our prestigious organization, our club, get out of here with that.
Stugotz. Yeah, Ricketts didn't make money off Sammy Sosa. He won the bid in 2009. This was post-Sammy Sosa.
Well, that ruins my argument.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Taj Gibson. Glue guy?
Yeah. Or he might be an energy guy off the bench.
Oh, are those different?
Yeah,
those
totally different. Yeah. Like, you remember Vinny Johnson, the microwave, Detroit Pistons? That was an energy guy off the bench, not a glue guy.
So the glue guy and the energy guy are different guys?
Yes.
On the hierarchy, is role player is above glue guy? So it's like superstar, star, role player.
No, I think role player.
Glue guy.
No, I think
energy guy.
No, I think role player. What are the rankings? I think role player is synonymous with glue guy.
So you can be a role player glue guy?
I think energy guy comes before glue guy.
I can't handle all that.
Wait a minute. What are the rankings?
Like my personal rankings.
Right.
Superstar, star, role player, glue guy, energy guy.
But what if your role is glue guy?
Wait a minute. Your only choice that you're giving us between
energy guy,
star and role player? There are no choices between star and role player.
What else? What else is there? You're either a star or you're a role player or you're glue guy, energy guy off the bench.
There's no stop between star and role player?
No.
Good locker room guy? Veteran guy?
I think locker room guy goes below energy guy.
What the hell was Antoine Walker? Was Antoine Walker a star?
Yeah, Antoine Walker was a star.
He was?
Well, it depends on which team. I mean...
Well, yeah. But at his peak, he was a star. He wasn't a superstar. He was a star. You're trying to say Antoine Walker was a role player?
No, what I'm saying is that your bogus system only allows for star and role player.
He's been different guys for different teams.
He's in the middle. Antoine Walker is definitely in the middle between star and role player.
So what is that? What is that title? It needs a title or it doesn't exist?
It does need a title. What is it?
What is Nick Collison?
The role player.
Good locker room guy.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like an energy guy to me.
Shooter.
Chris Birdman Anderson.
What about him?
Glue guy.
Energy guy.
Yeah, you're wrong about that.
Yeah, energy.
Yeah, spark plug. Yeah.
Energy guy. Get out of here. 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Get out of here. 2 minutes. That's not a glue guy. What the hell's the matter with you? Honestly. That's a 5-minute major. Get him out of here.
He stepped on a joke, too.
Unbelievable.
Amazing,
what the hell, man?
Trevor Ariza?
Ooh.
Role player?
Role player.
No, but what? No, but not for this team. If we're doing the Antoine Walker sliding scale of only star and role player, Trevor Ariza for that team would be a star.
No.
Same like Draymond Green's a star.
But he's the fourth guy on that team.
Draymond Green's the fourth guy on his team.
Yeah, but that's because they have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. It's a little different.
But, I mean...
Ariza's a role player.
Role player, yeah.
Look,
defense, hit some threes.
This is the part that's infuriating about what you guys are doing. Trevor Ariza is in the space, in the purgatory between star and role player. There is a stop there.
He's at the top of role player. not quite a star.
I see what you're saying. You're trying to identify what we call that stop.
There's room
Yes.
between the bottom
Yes.
of star and the top of role player, and I'll throw everyone in the penalty box who disagrees with me. I will storm on the ice, Ty Domi style, just punching people.
Stole player?
What's the middle rung?
How about a specialist? Because Greg Hodges, he was a specialist.
Yeah, that's
it. Specialist.
Time out. What's his name?
Craig Hodges.
There we go.
Yeah.
Second time's the charm.
Yeah. Haji. How about Turkaloo? Glue guy. Turkaglue.
Is that the game you want to play?
I know, it's a fun one.
We can play that one.
No, I think you're right. There is something in between. There's a stop here, and I can't, and shame on me, because I should know this. I don't know what the name of it is.
I don't think that stop exists.
Another controversy that we have here, and we can get back to this important conversation, but a lot of people are writing in, hey, Stugotz, it's not a duck fart, it's a duck snort. It's a duck snort. They don't know what you're doing with duck fart. It's duck snort.
How about Glue Edwards?
It's 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that might be
I'm sorry. No, I deserve it.
2 minutes.
Glue
Get out of
Edwards.
here.
It was so easy.
Yes.
It was so easy. You know what?
Get out of
That's
here.
2 minutes
I'll get out of here. But I've had two people step on two great jokes I've had the last two segments. I'm out of here.
Fine them.
It's a fine.
Oh,
because
it's a
you're blaming
fine. Hopefully
others.
I have money today.
What are the two jokes that people have stepped on around here? Do you remember them? Would you like to deliver them again?
No cash.
Roy saw money. That's $2.
No, he didn't.
That's $3 now. Roy saw it. $3. You owe $3. $3 and then get out of here.
Glue Williams.
A softly hit ball that goes over the infielders and lands in the outfield for a hit. Originally called a duck fart because it was assumed that a duck's feathers would make its farts as soft as the hit. Changed to a snort for use in polite company.
Oh, okay. Ooh. You prudes out there writing in, complaining that Disney Radio is talking about duck farts and saying, no, it's not a duck fart. We don't know what that is. It's merely a snort.
Donald Duck Fart. 2 minutes.
Did you get a joke off right there? Did you?
That's 2 minutes in the box.
Donald Duck Farts? Like what? Did Stugotz forget how to do the show for a minute there? What just happened? Huh? Do I sound like an old person, like my father looking around a room on television when he gets confused? Eh?
Oh, who's going to draw? This is confusing.
Out of rummage.
So this is the magic crate of content. Forrest Gump. Good movie or bad movie?
Wow. What a debate this is.
Wait a minute. People think this is a bad movie?
So many people think Forrest Gump is a bad movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up, then, is what they're saying, because it was universally seen as a good movie when it came out. There wasn't a whole lot of criticism of that movie.
There were people pointing to it and saying, this is absurd. This story doesn't make any sense.
Really?
I mean, think about all the things he accomplished. It does really stretch reality.
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, not all good movies are real. Like, it was not supposed to be meant to be real. It was a fun movie that traveled throughout time. Nostalgia.
I love Forrest Gump, but there is a strong segment of the population that hates Forrest Gump.
No, see, Mike, I don't believe that Forrest Gump is the same thing as this music conversation that we were having, where some people believe Toto is the greatest song of all time, and some people believe it's the worst song of all time. That's not the conversation that we're having about Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is not on both ends of the extreme. I've not heard anyone say Forrest Gump is a bad movie. Bad. You could say it's overrated or okay, but not bad.
It is absolutely a thing. I'm telling you. People fight over this.
I mean, it gave us Bubba, Lieutenant Dan, It
won Best Picture.
Yeah, you can't say that's a bad movie.
So did Shakespeare in Love.
Vita Glue.
Look at me now. I'm getting paper.
Everyone on the show has proven that when you need a suit, the best place to go is the Black Tuck. Check the show's Instagram. You'll see it. We clean up well because of the Black Tux. Tell them, Stugotz.
Yep, for more than a year now, the blacktux.com has been our go-to option for looking great at special events and weddings, whether you're researching for a Stylist selected outfit. You wouldn't research it. You would just search it, right? Tom Glugliata. How about that? Chris Gluhan. Sorry.
2 minutes. I'll read the rest of that.
This
Give it
is
to
unbelievable.
me. Give it to me.
This is an outrage. Tony Glarusa.
I'm back. He's back. Give him the paper back.
Glarusa.
He won back with the Glarusa.
Ty Glue.
Yes. Let him finish the read.
All right, I'll allow it.
Yes.
After Ty, I will allow it after Ty Glue.
Tony Glue Coach.
Give it back to me. Give it back to me. Get out of here. Get out of here. Leave again. Thank you. For more than a year now, thebblacktux.com has been my go-to option for looking great at special events and wedding. Whether you're searching for a stylist-selected outfit or building a custom look, the Black Tux has tons of new suits and tuxedos.
Rod Kaglu.
Oh.
I'm out of here.
That joke doesn't even make any sense. Rod Carew had 3,000 hits.
Glue Bledsoe.
Rod Kaglu doesn't make any sense. Rod Kaglu he's not a glue guy. Whether you're searching for a stylist-selected outfit or building a custom look, the Black Tux has tons of new suits and tuxedos that'll make you stand out for the right reason.
Roberto Gluongo.
Glue, but wait a minute, he's a goalie. That's not a glue guy.
Semantics.
To score $20 off your purchase, visit thebblacktux.com/Dan.
Glue Al Dang.
Yeah!
That's pretty good. That's thebblacktux.com/Dan for $20 off your purchase. Let's see. Do you have the joke to end it with? The Black Tux premium rental suits and tuxedos delivered.
Glue Breeze.
Whoa!
Don Le Batard.
And finally, the shortest, most concise tongue twister is toy boat. Try saying that 5 times fast. Toy boat, toy boy, toy boy, toy boat, toy boat.
He came closer than I did. Toy boy, toy boy, toy boy, toy boy, toy boy.
Stugotz.
Everybody, let's go around the room. Chris, what do you got? What do you got? Give us 5 straight toy boats. Say it as fast as you can.
Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I have 4 trending stories in front of me. Trending is all that matters these days. Domonique Foxworth is in with us. He's a bit of a counterculture thinker. He comes from the Players Union, and he says that we should abolish the Players Union. He feels he's his own thinker, and one of the things that he thinks is that we can eliminate scouting departments in football. And I want to get to that in a second, but before we do, I just want to read the 4 trending stories. Are you ready?
Yep.
ESPN brought to its knees by Reply Apocalypse. Reply All Apocalypse. Martellus Bennett believes 89% of NFL players smoke pot. That's great that he would just throw that number out there randomly and make it 89%. Green-haired turtle that breathes through its genitals added to endangered list. Will you please quit laughing before we're done with the jokes? So get to the scouting report.
He does that often.
The scouting report.
I tried to get away from the mic.
Do you believe, we got to get him a cough button too. Do you believe that?
So the point I was making is that NFL teams are always looking for advantages, looking for ways to save money and looking for other ways to allocate their resources in order to gain an advantage. And I think that 1 or 2 NFL teams probably could get away with abolishing their scouting department because all the information that you need is out there. And if you look at the success rate, it's not as if they aren't still playing the lottery, considering that they spend millions of dollars on getting scouts out to different teams and checking everything out and doing all this planning, and then they go and fail. So can't they just have a couple guys scour the internet? There's enough information out there to form legitimate opinions on players and then draft based on that.
All right, that sounds like an irresponsible viewpoint. It sounds like you're not supporting that with anything. I like the way that you think. I like that you think differently, but you got to support that take better than that if you want the audience to buy on the idea that the NFL doesn't have to actually have a scouting department to look into players.
I think many teams have scouting departments, and they do plenty of the work, and the information all gets leaked. I'm saying that some teams could get away with not doing their own scouting, and I don't need the audience to agree with me. I'm fine with being Copernicus on this joint.
But are you saying outsourcing the scouting? Is that what you're kind of doing?
There you go. Dress it up.
All right.
Dress it up, Stu.
I think I'm good with that. Yeah.
Why, though? Why are you doing that?
Because you can then use those resources and put them in another area where you can actually gain an advantage. In my mind, it's about finding places to gain advantages where you can't gain advantages.
But why are there limits in this sport? Why would there be limits on the spending in these areas, whether it's a scouting department of 1 million people or 10 people?
But I think what you're saying is, drafting and scouting, it's kind of a crapshoot. So why spend so much money on it? Just use whatever is available with digital, with media, with all, outsource it a little bit and put that money to better use elsewhere in other departments.
But what I'm saying is, why do you have to have better use for your money when an NFL team makes plenty of money and doesn't have to have better use for its money? Why are we running the savings of NFL teams through their front office when there's no salary cap on those expenses? If somebody wants to get a competitive advantage by giving John Gruden $700 million a year, if they believe that gives them a competitive advantage, then they can do that.
Oh, $700 million. I see you, player. Get that money. However, I do believe that they have enough money to do both things. I understand that. But there's a finite amount of resources and time that you can devote. And there's a theory of too many cooks in the kitchen. I think it's possible that you could acquire enough information to make informed. And I know this because I'm studying for draft prep and writing some pieces on soon to be drafted players. And I feel like I know these players as well as anybody who would be drafting or some of those players.
But do you? Because we were talking about this yesterday, the idea that Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay, there are two big guns on ESPN draft stuff. These are careers that they've made out of this. I didn't think ESPN had room for one of them. Here are two of them, and we're saying we want a third.
Mina Kimes would do a better job than me, though. She is a real draft professional.
What we need to do this, Mike. We
are doing it with Mina Kimes on Monday. We are going to beta test this Mina Kimes thing.
Nice.
Same initials as Mel Kiper.
Ooh. Does Mina Kimes believe that she can do draft analysis as well as McShay or Kiper? Because I want a young gun coming for their thrones. McShay's over the hill. McShay, he's not a has-been, but he's no longer the young player.
Oh, you know Mina, super confident in everything that she does. She's super ready to tackle Mel Kiper.
She's got this.
So Mel Kiper Jr., industry standard. We are going after him with Mina Kimes and her draft knowledge on Monday. What are we doing? Because
she has a big board.
Wow. The Mina big board.
She's got a big board. Yeah. She's got a mock draft it up. She may take your calls. Who knows?
Okay. Oh, taking the calls would be
great.
Good. Taking calls. I think we should audition her for the role of McShay, come get some. We are going after you and McShay, we are trying to tear you down from behind, and Mina Kimes is going to climb over everybody here to the top of the draft insider industry.
She knows more than me, particularly.
Time for my favorite color.
Big, where are we?
Get the bleep out of the way, man.
Orange, yellow, purple, pink, blue.
You haven't given us anything since the knuckleballing brother.
What team we're on?
I see you didn't say it.
Choose which color? Will he 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 choose which color?
Kind of the job I wanted for the show with the draft stuff, but give it to me.
Today.
You can compete.
Navajo White is number 13. Navajo White. What do you mean? Navajo White is number 13. Yes, Navajo White. I told you this the other day, and Moccasin is number 12. That's tomorrow.
No. Nope. We find out tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, but it's going to be Moccasin tomorrow. Bill Simmons talks Andre the Giant next. Has Bill Simmons been on ESPN since leaving ESPN? Is that a thing that's happened? Is it going to happen next? What?
Don Le Batard.
Give us as much as you can here. Take us up to the dramatic first pitch, Billy.
Jose Ureña standing at the back of the mound. He reaches down. He's rubbing some dirt and rosin on his hand. And here we go.
Stugotz.
And the pitch. Oh, God, a home run on the first pitch of the game. Oh, my God.
Welcome, Derek Jeter. And that concludes our Marlins coverage for the season.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Bill Simmons going to join us in just a minute here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Looking forward to that. Here's your SportsCenter update. Russell Westbrook became the first NBA player in history to average a triple-double for 2 consecutive seasons. Markelle Fultz became the youngest player in NBA history to earn a triple-double. Imagine if he turns out to be good. Embiid, Fultz, Simmons, Covington. And finally, Jake Gyllenhaal has confirmed that he will not be the next actor.
Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal has confirmed, should be Gyllenhaal, has confirmed that he will not be the next actor to don Batman's cape and cowl. Rumors swirled in the fall that Gyllenhaal was tabbed to replace Ben Affleck in Matt Reeves' upcoming Batman movie. It is unclear where Warner Brothers will go from here.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Should it be Gyllenhaal? Should Jake make it Gyllenhaal?
For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
I got surprised last night. I didn't think it could happen. I'm like, they're using too much Hulk Hogan in this Andre the Giant documentary on HBO. I'm like, why so much Hulk? I want to hear more about Andre the Giant. And then I realized that they bleeping got me, the Simmons, and they got me to get emotional about fake bleep Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
They got me to get emotional during that Andre the Giant documentary.
Now, I will say this, that Hogan, of all the guys they interviewed, and they interviewed tons, Hogan was the best. I mean, Hogan was great. He really was.
So Bill Simmons was the executive producer on this. Thank you for joining us, Bill. You must have enjoyed. You loved this wrestling, this time in wrestling so much. Mike Ryan still goes to WrestleMania as an adult. You must have loved working on that project.
Wait, I still go to WrestleMania as an adult. I don't want to besmirch Mike Ryan. I listened to yesterday. I heard Stugotz's lukewarm, tepid. It's good, not great. I already saw this on A&E in 1984.
I'd say that.
It's fine. It's impossible to ever impress me. I heard your whole thing. That's why we love you.
I know. Well, thank you. I love you too, Bill. Thanks for understanding.
Okay.
Impressing Stugotz is the single toughest thing to do in sports media right now. It can't be done.
Thank you.
Put it on the poll.
Are you impressed by the Sixers, Stugotz, or is there a way to knock them down?
Nah. Sixers, they got no experience, Bill, headed into the playoffs. These guys aren't playoff tested. There's no way. I can't imagine them getting past the Heat here in the first round.
If Ohtani pitches a perfect game with 20 strikeouts and hits 2 home runs, Stugotz will be like, it was against the White Sox.
Not impressive.
Fine.
Do it in the postseason. Win a championship. And then win 2.
You think you will never win this game, Simmons. You can continue to put things in front of him, and he will move them, and you will be defeated. If you believe that you're going to win this, you are not.
No, it was great. The Andre thing was an 11-year odyssey for me. And, for a long time, WWE just didn't want to do it. They don't outsource their intellectual property, and they wanted to keep everything for themselves. And over the course of this decade, got to know them a little bit better, got to sell them on the idea and the concept of doing it with HBO and how an outside audience, a bigger platform might help tell that story better, and it just kind of worked out. It was great. People seem to like it.
Can you explain to me, Bill Simmons with us again, Andre the Giant is on HBO, and if you care about oddities, you don't even have to care about sports, just interesting things. This guy was more than just giant, and it was a weird thing that happened with him and how it is that he became famous. Was there anything in the movie that confused you? For example, I didn't understand how should I process Vince McMahon's relationship with Andre the Giant?
Yeah, that was a tough one because obviously, we tried to establish Andre was the biggest star they had before wrestling took off and went national and was on cable and the whole thing right before Hulkamania. And all of a sudden it's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. The WrestleManias are happening. And they really needed Andre to kind of push it over the top, but his body was breaking down. And that's kind of the arc of the story we told. But then there's this whole arc after that we probably could have spent another 10 minutes on, but we just we wanted to get to the finish line at that point. But from post-WrestleMania 3 on, Andre's body was really breaking down. And it was really sad to kind of watch him those last 5 years. And I do think he probably felt like Vince used him and tossed him away. And on the other hand, Vince probably felt like, well, you can't wrestle anymore. What am I supposed to do? And it does seem like he still has a lot of pain about it. It was really crazy, that interview he did where he said, I have this ability to compartmentalize, and if something's negative, I can just shut it away and put it away. I was like, wow, that's not something you normally hear somebody say, but
he obviously still has a lot of pain over it.
But that's on Vince, though, right? Because he threw him out there in the ring so early in his career, Bill, and then allowed him.
But Stugotz,
no, but Dan, then they let no, but Dan, when he wasn't on the card, because Vince didn't want him on the card every single week, it ruined what is Andre the Giant. He would allow him to go wrestle in other places, and so his body hurts.
I know, but how do you govern that if he's your business and like you need him?
Yeah.
Like you have some sort of precedent. This is another one that Stugotz can do, Bill, where he can criticize anybody. You have a precedent for managing the 7'4", 500-pound guy in wrestling?
Yeah, just let him wrestle for you, and that's it. Don't rent him out. That's that. Bill, did he not do that? Like he wrestled too much early in his career.
But you're second guessing the use of Andre the Giant after the inevitable injury came because he's 500 pounds.
It's easy to do, man. Yes, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, shame on Vince McMahon.
Well, I think they overworked all those guys, and it's something that they still do to this day. Those guys work a lot of dates, and in his case, I didn't know till we started working on the documentary that Andre knew he had this condition and chose not to take the medication. The medication would have, he had the acromegalia. The medication would have arrested it and stopped it. It wouldn't have reversed it, but his body was still producing so much growth hormone that his organs and stuff were, and his spine and his body was growing even though he was getting older. And that's why he really started to crumble and he needed the back surgeries and all that stuff. He probably, if you watch, there's stuff we could have put in there. Like you watch the matches from the last 5 years. We had a little bit in there, but like he really had to hold himself up on the ring and, have really quick matches. He had this whole, 3-month stretch where he wrestled the Ultimate Warrior all around the country, and the Warrior would beat him in 90 seconds. And it was really because Andre couldn't wrestle a match. So, it was kind of sad how it ended with him.
Is there a favorite fact that you have from the Andre the Giant movie? If you can only use one to tell people, this is the pretty cool one, Bill Simmons would use which one?
I thought that the 10-minute stretch where we told the story of how they figured out the WrestleMania 3 storyline and Hogan really not knowing whether Andre was actually going to let him win.
I thought that was so cool. Bill, did you get emotional?
I didn't know any of that
stuff. Did you get emotional watching that at any point in your creating of it, or were you too close to it to get emotional while watching it?
No, absolutely. That made me a little emotional, but the stuff at the end with his friends when, I think after people found out he died, I think that part, you see that in a giant theater, and people were really affected. We premiered it in L.A. We had 1,000 people, and people were just openly crying at the end. And I knew I wasn't sure that was going to happen, but I watched the second cut with my wife, who doesn't like wrestling. And she was really into it and was sobbing at the end. And I was like, oh, this is good. This is, if we can get...
You can't help but feel for going through life as that sort of oddity. And you nailed it with the idea of he's taking 14-hour flights and he can't fit in the airplane bathroom, so they have to draw back a curtain. And if he's got to go to the bathroom, he's got to go in a bucket in front of people because he's living life in a toy dollhouse.
In a bucket. They would bring it to the bathroom to dispose of it.
Right.
And come back with a bucket.
He had to go on the airplane. He has to go 14-hour flights. You guys nailed that in terms of the deep, deep sadness that anyone can understand, even if you can't humanize somebody who's a giant like that. Bill,
yeah, we had. There was stuff we didn't put in there either. When he was in Japan, there was a couple of times someone told us a story and we couldn't use it because it was too gross. But there was a couple hotel bathrooms in Japan that he couldn't fit in. He couldn't even go into the bathroom to use the toilet. So if he had to go to the bathroom, not pee, but the other one, he would have to do it in a comforter. And then they would have to come and take the comforter.
Why couldn't you use that? Why couldn't you use stuff like that? I'd be curious to hear all the stories. Yeah, that you couldn't use.
Yeah, that was too gross. I think that passed. Maybe not for Stugotz.
No,
maybe that would have
upped his
rating from great to great. I don't know. But
hey, Bill, quickly on the NBA, for those who don't know, there's nothing wrong with that.
I love the idea of Stugotz treating that as a spa service. Here, I'm just going to poop in a comforter.
So convenient.
I'm allowed, right? Yeah. That comes with the cucumbers I put on my eye.
Comes with the resort fee. Yeah. All right, Bill, quickly on the NBA. For those who don't know, Bill is a big Celtic fan. NBA playoffs are coming up. Put us in the room with you. Put us in the room with you when you learn that Kyrie Irving was out for the season.
Everybody wants to play your team. I think Bucks and Heat and everyone's trying to get in position to play your team.
last night was crazy. We had everybody tanking to avoid Philadelphia and everybody jacking to play the number 2 seed, the Celtics. I found out, I actually went to Augusta last week with my dad, which was incredible, and they take your phones. And I didn't have a phone for like 10 hours and come out, and I'm just so happy. It was like the greatest day of my dad's life. And I get my phone, and I turn it on, and, you know, my first thing is I hope nothing happened at work. I had 90 people that work at the Ringer. I just wanted to make sure, you turn it on, you're just thinking the worst. And I just have all these emails and texts about Kyrie. And I just had no idea. And apparently it had happened like 6 hours before I turned my phone on. It was just like this immediate stomach punch. Because I really thought he was coming back for round 2. And I think the team did too. So I don't know how much of a difference it would have made. I don't think, even with Kyrie, I'm not sure they could have made the finals. But now they're a cross-off, and what's crazy is, you know, Philly is getting a ton of momentum now as this team that might actually, you know, the East is so screwed up, they might actually be able to sneak in. I think they got a terrible draw with Miami. I think Miami is like just a sneaky playoff opponent. It's hard to figure them out. They have all these guys who could just get hot from game to game, and they're really well coached. I think Dragic it's a bad matchup for the Sixers. They have a center to throw in Embiid, and the whole Spoelstra-Riley factor, like, that's going to be real in a playoff series. Whatever Philly's limitations are, I think they're going to be able to expose. So that's probably my favorite series of 8 in the first round.
That's cool. Bill, congratulations on the movie. Good talking to you again. Don't be a stranger.
Good talking to you guys, too.
All right, see you, Bill.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPNU.